Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and we watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back on Thursdays and we discuss it. And this week is our first time watching Kaguya-sama Love is War, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss. We go through the first four episodes on this podcast. So if you've already seen the first four episodes of Kaguya-sama, stay right here. If not, go check them out. But I didn't go on this Love is War journey alone. I'm here with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
Doing good. Excited to start a new show, and it's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how how this goes, because this isn't really quite like anything we've talked about before so far.
No, and if you don't know, if this is your first time watching, welcome. But we've done quite a bit of anime before. So we go ahead and watch pretty much through the first arc, the first season, or the first 12 episodes, whichever ones come first. And then we rate them and then we give them a little rating on what's going on. The last time that you saw us, we were talking about the ending of Puella Magi Madoka Magica, and that's where we ranked it there. Matt's first S tier. That's all the anime that we've watched already. You see Zombieland Saga, you see Psychopaths, you see a couple other ones. That's where we rate the anime that we've already done. And then by the end of the first season of Kaguya-sama Love is War, we are going to put that on the list as well. So thank you to everybody watching on Twitch live, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman live. And you can watch it if you miss anything on YouTube or on Spotify or anywhere else. But let's get into it, because this is our first time watching this stuff, and uh it's totally different than everything
Yeah,
else, like
I
Matt
don't
said.
know if I've ever watched an anime structured like this.
No,
Period.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But I do gotta say, I read the manga. I read the first book of manga, so I kind of knew what was going on within these first four episodes a little bit. And I watched the first episode of the show, but then I stopped. So I saw the first episode, and then me and you watched it with a couple people as well. We watched it together to watch
hmm
the first episode again. But what happens in this very first episode? Break it down a little bit, and we'll get chatting about it.
This very first episode gives us like kind of the setup to this, like, to the whole world, to the structure of the show as it's going to be presented to us moving forward. We meet two characters, Miyuki and Kaguya, who are part of the student council body at the prestigious Suchin Academy. These two are head over heels for each other. However, they are each too prideful to be the one to admit their feelings first. After another member of the student body implies that the two should go on a date to see a movie, an ever intensifying game of brains, wits over pride and love commences.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I guess we could talk about, like, first off, I cannot get the opening song out of my head.
Love is war, love is
Yes.
war.
I have been singing that, I don't know how long, all day yesterday.
It's replaced my gotcha man cell.
True.
It's finally taken something else.
It's taken over. What do you think about the opening and the
The opening
whole?
is so entertaining.
It is.
Like, they make so many fun, like, metaphors and allusions to, yeah, love literally being like, a war, where they're showcasing them like using all these like weapons and stuff, where it's like, that never happens in the show, but it's like that's what the stakes can feel like
Yeah.
metaphorically, with how they're like
The
competing
two
against
main
each other in a battle.
Sure, the two main characters are going through this, and it's literally chess pieces, literally two generals commanding their fleet or whatever. Whatever metaphor you want to use. But then the song is so cool. Like, it feels like an 80s, like 80s vibe, like sitcom sort of. um I love how it's super leaning into comedy. um and we talked about this one being like a huge juxtaposition to Madoka Magica,
Oh yeah.
which was last time, but like it really is like it's just so lighthearted, it's so fun and silly. um and
But
and it's I don't know. I like the song. The song is so good. It's so catchy, and it's a lot of fun.
We watched it in Discord with some people the other night, like you said, the first episode or so, and I believe we were watching it dubbed, not subbed.
Yes.
I
No.
continued. Go
We
ahead.
sub.
We watched it in subbed.
Yes.
That's right, because the dub subtitles wouldn't show up, so we were like,
Yes.
let's just watch it in subbed anyways.
Mhm.
I went back and I watched it in dubbed, not subbed, and I really like the dub.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I
The
switched over to we
narrator's, like, vocal inflections just hit so differently when I, like, when it's my, first language that I'm hearing, for sure,
I
for me.
promise you, me and Matt did not talk about this, but I did wanna bring it up. I love it in dubbed. I went back and I watched all 4 episodes in dubbed. It's so much better. I really enjoyed it. Um, and I didn't make you say that, right? Like, I told I think it was Bubsy where he was like, "I didn't really like it," but I was like, "I think you would like it in dub. It's just so much better for some reason." You're right, the narrator's voice, his inflections, the way that he's saying the things, and the way that the 2 main characters are talking. The English voice actors are really good.
Yeah.
And this is one where I would say go back and watch it in English
They're
if
really
English
good
is your
at
first language.
they're really good at portraying, like, a complete roller coaster of emotion that 2 teenagers that are, yeah, like, kind of in love with each other, would be having within all of these, like, crazy situations that we get to see them presented in. And some of the reaction shots in combination with, yeah, the voice actors, it's just I had to, like, pause a couple times because, like, I was holding my stomach because I was, like, laughing too hard.
Yeah, when me and you were watching, I heard you laugh quite a bit. It's so funny. Like,
It's
this
really
show is
funny.
so funny. Um, so the op is really cute. Um, get introduced to these 3 main characters who are, like, what the entire show revolves around, at least so far. Again, I've only watched the first episode or watched the first episode before, and now we're on episode 4, so as much as me and Matt know, these are the only characters really that are super, getting introduced.
Mhm.
Um, how how do you feel about these 3, uh, in this
I
first episode?
I was thinking about that earlier, and I do think that, like, for the shows for the way the show is trying to, like, present itself with this whole setup and everything, that this is a really good character dynamic to have unfold. And it happens in a couple episodes where it's like, the Chika, the third in the love triangle kind of the pattern that's working there. But she's totally just oblivious. She's just having fun. And it's Kaguya who feels like, more or less intimidated by her presence at times, where she thinks that Miyuki is more so interested in her, but
Yeah.
it's like that's never the case. It's more so that he's trying to pretend that he's giving her more attention to make Kaguya jealous and such. It's a very fun, like, yeah, triangle that they're able to play off in a bunch of different ways.
Um, we see Kaguya turn on Chica really quickly
Yeah, but
because of that whole thing.
she always brings it right back. Like, why
Yeah.
was I even acting that way? Yada yada
Mhm.
yada. And that's what I mean. Like and you can feel that from the character in the voice actors. I feel like yeah, it feels like they were all in the same room. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? These voice actors were all in the same room doing all of these recordings face to face. It never feels like a line is disconnected from another. The timing is always perfect.
We haven't talked about the episode structure and how I'm not too sure how we can get through all of this because these are all a bunch of little vignettes of situations, but the whole guiding force is that these 2 don't want to admit that they really like each other
So each of these
because,
vignettes is presented like a battle in their war that's going on.
like, so and so wins, this person wins, nobody wins, this person has the advantage, whatever, whatever. Because the idea here is that the person that confesses their love first is the one that loses their power over the other person or whatever. Did you feel like that when you were in high school?
Oh
Or did you
yeah.
feel like that when you were a
Heck
kid?
yeah.
Really?
Heck yeah.
Really? Okay.
100%. It's like I can't because then like then they'll know and then word will get out and it's always
Okay.
like like a yeah, like a chess game of like having to be able to move the right piece at the right time.
Huh.
100%.
But not as much, not to where your mental gymnastics are going like these 2, right?
No, not to this degree, but it
Okay.
it it can definitely feel that way, when the show is able to present it so, like, believably, honestly.
I I didn't feel that way. I don't know. I always was just well, I don't know. Really, it's been so long. But like I don't know, this just felt like super, I don't know, childish, I guess, but it's so cute. It's really silly.
It's
Um
childish because they are kids.
yeah, cuz they're kids. Is it like war? Yes, it's like war. But like I don't know. I guess yeah, whenever you're a kid or whatever, whenever you're younger, everything feels like the worst thing
Yeah,
ever.
this is my world right now, and if the things aren't gonna happen the way I want them to, my world is literally coming apart.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't Oh, I don't know. That's cool. If
In
anybody
high
wants to
school.
share about their high school experiences or middle school loves or triangles or whatever, let us know in the chat. Or if you're watching later on Spotify or YouTube, message us. Episode 2. There all these little titles are long. I'm not gonna read the titles on this one. I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah.
But episode 2, what goes down in episode 2 and all our little stories.
Episode 2, we see Miyuki get a new smartphone and the battle over who will ask who for whose phone number first happens. Um, Moving on, the student body plans for a spring trip, but ideals clash over the prime destination of the trip, mountain versus beach. And finally, another student comes to Miyuki for advice. Kaguya in earshot, Miyuki relays all of his quote unquote expertise to his fellow student, knowing that he has zero love experience himself.
So it turns out, as we're finding out, that they are inexperienced, which is rightfully so because they are they are kids. um, but yeah, how do we want to talk about this? Do we want to go because they're all like little silly stories, and like I'm totally okay with that. I do want to say though, I did enjoy so far the anime way more than the manga. The manga had these little stories as well, like each chapter was a little thing, and I was like, okay, okay. But I think it really is seeing it, the comedy landing, the little jokes, Chica being silly, Chica being really weird because she wanted to go visit the dead or something in this episode. She wanted to speak to the
That
dead.
was the outcome of one of the battles, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
and
like, draw. Chica is really weird.
yeah. Seeing it and hearing the voice actors for sure in English, it's just like, um, it's so much better. Like, I have the manga, the first 3 volumes, I'm like, "Nah, I read the first one," but I watched the first episode, I was like, "Yes, we need to watch this, uh, show." But we've seen, Kaguya turn on the charm a little bit sometimes with well, I don't know if it's charm or, like, uh, where she uses her tears or she uses trying to be cute or, like, things like that. We see her using
Employing
those
advanced tactics.
advanced tactics a lot of the time because of the teary eyes, because of the sadness. It's really silly. Who are you rooting for here? Because I like how it's
I feel
uh
like in each battle, I'm like rooting for one of them or the other, depending on the situation. Like in a game of who should ask for whose number, I'm rooting for Kaguya to win that he asked for her number first because I mean, duh, he's go ask the girl for her number if you like her. Just do the thing.
okay.
Um,
Thanks, Matt.
but like but like in the situation of the where they should take the spring trip, it's like I don't care who wins that. It's just
Sure.
being silly,
It's just a
and
little
I'm
silly
just more
thing.
laughing at the way that they're both making such a big deal about it.
We also see Kaguya turn on Chica once again because of Oh, what she's got. Because now she doesn't want to go to the beach, and then they end up switching. They're doing the classic like comedy thing where they switch. Like, wait, no, the thing I've been, the thing I've been rooting for, I do not want now. Wait, hold on, this whole thing.
Oh,
Um,
how the turns have tabled.
yes, really. And how do you like? Because Chica's the one that we see on the memes. That's the only thing I knew
Yeah,
about this show
honestly.
is the meme Chica dance, this pink-haired girl, whatever. Somebody in the comments of Crunchyroll said that Chica feels like an older Anya, and now I can't unsee it. They ruined it. It
That-
just feels like a high school Anya from Spy Family.
Anya
Um,
becomes the student body secretary. I see it
yeah,
happening.
totally, for sure. But how do you feel about Chica being in the middle? I feel like she's necessary for this
Yeah.
show.
Oh
She
yeah.
is very necessary to be in the
They
middle
need
of it to
they need
bounce off.
somebody to play off of. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it things wouldn't ever like get anywhere with them because like we see in the first episode she's the driving force of they say like 10 months happen without anything happening between the two of them and then Chica's like, "Oh hey guys, look, I got some movie tickets, you should go to the movie together." And then he's like, "Would you want to go to the movie?" And then she's like, "Oh, by the way, people tend to become a couple after seeing this movie." And then the game begins.
Yeah, it's so good.
So
Wh-
she is literally the catalyst to the war that they are having, as the show presents it.
For sure, so far,
Yeah.
at least. Um, it's just so silly. I don't know how to say this is like a fun ride so far. Um, I don't know if I'm rooting for one over the other. I do like how it presents these little vignettes differently depending on who's the focus. Like sometimes we go into um Kaguya's head a little bit more, but then Shirogane, I feel like for the first couple episodes, we go into his head more and we see it from his side because she's just deploying these tactics. Um, and we're watching it from his point of view. So I'm really liking the way they're presenting the show, where it's like we can jump into anybody's head. I don't know if we jump into Chica's head. I don't think we know what Chica's doing. We just go into the two main characters. We don't know what
I don't
Chica's.
think it's
Chica's
yeah,
just off
she's
the wall.
yeah,
We're
she's just existing.
and we're gonna see her get off the wall in episode 4 for sure. Um, but yeah, we see over the phone that comes into play later. It's leading us down a road here on a story, which is really cool because they bring up that Kaguya has a flip phone. They bring up that Shirogane has a new like smartphone and stuff, and then they bring it up later. So I like how this is going forward on a story, and it's not just like out of context little
Yeah.
stories.
The as the story moves forward, there are callbacks to previous things that have happened, definitely to kind of help give it more of a structure, more of a timeline that's going on instead of yeah, just feeling like anything could be happening in a vacuum at any time, for sure.
What is the better date, mountains or beach?
I mean, for them, probably mountains. I feel like beach
For
seems a
you,
little
Matt?
intimidating. For me, beach. I'm
Oh
in
yeah, you're Cali.
California.
Yeah, my
I
bad.
could do. We could do both in the same day.
Whoa! Somebody wife Matt up. Um, I
What
am
would
okay
you
with
pick?
beach. I don't know. Mountain seems sweaty, which is fine, I guess, if I'm trying to get like that. Beach is hot. I just don't like the sun. VR, mountains and
Umbrella.
beach.
VR.
VR, mountains and beach. I think that's a good one.
MetaQuest.
I don't mind. No, I don't mind beach. It's fine. I'll sit on the sand. That's cool. Or okay, I don't like
Sand.
bugs. Like the thing that they brought up was bugs. I'm
Bug
not a
spray.
fan of bugs. Yeah, bug spray's fine. But like it's okay. Episode 3 is where my jaw dropped once or twice. Um thank you so much for the follow,
I
13.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Episode 3 was
What
something. So
I okay, let's talk about episode 3 because this is the one that really made me go, "What?" And then like, "Oh, okay." Hello, Shar. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about Love is War, Kaguya-sama.
Love
Um,
is war.
and we're on episode 3. We're going to talk about it. What happened in episode 3?
Episode 3. First, we see a lewd magazine that makes its way into the student council room, leads into a discussion on who's quote unquote done it before. After that, Kaguya and Miyaki play a game of 20 questions, divided in half because of how long he's gotten to know her. In response to her feeling like she has grown over the past school year, um, to humor her. After that, we see car troubles with Kaguya leading her to walk to school for the day, but um, finds herself in the midst of a detour with with a new friend that she makes uh, before meeting up with the president.
And then, oh wait, you have. Did they call each other on this episode or the next one?
The next one, oh, then I think yeah, the next one. That's the next one.
Okay, okay. Um, so the first part, the first little vignette
First
about this
part
one
had
was the
me
one
just yeah.
where I was like, "Wait, what's happening here?" Because they're talking about who's done it before, and I was like, "Oh, we're doing this now. Okay." And we find out that Shirogane is a virgin monster, according to the show, and a virgin's kryptonite is being called a virgin. And then Kaguya proceeds to say some weird things, and I instantly just went like, "What's happening?" Because she said, "Oh yeah, I've done it with family. I've done it with my
See the
baby." The baby cousin one was where I was like, "Whoa, okay." Like she plays this rich, like very dry humor, very not or unassuming, because she is, like they said in the show, she is very sheltered and she's very like this, whatever. And
black box.
yeah, little box because she is rich and she doesn't know most of the world and she's shut off. Even we see in this episode as well where she's like looking out the window and like she wants to, be out there with the people are, you know what I mean? And this troubled me for like a second, but then the show went there and then asked the question like, "Wait, what do you think doing it means?" And then she said kissing. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
The
what did
way
you
she
think?"
was the way she was so nonchalant about it, um, I knew that, like, she wasn't. I was like, she doesn't know what they mean. Like, they're in 2 different speeds right now for sure, and,
I just didn't think the
then,
show would
like,
do
the
that.
yeah, but the way the dialogue went, I was still like I was still sitting there like, "Whoa, whoa."
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I knew that, like, that wasn't what she was inferring, even though, like, yeah, the I was
And then at the end of the episode, they show, or like at the end of the little thing, they show her kissing her little baby cousin on the cheek and stuff like that. So I was
yeah,
like, okay, that's what it needed for it to be okay. And I was like,
yeah,
I'm still here. I'm still on
yeah,
board for the show.
exactly.
I was like, okay, this is what, because otherwise I've been like, hold on, wait, what are we watching? What's going on? I can't believe we
She said,
Smudge made us
"What?"
watch this. Yeah. You said what? Um, and then Chica's the one that tells her what doing it is, which is very
Yeah.
interesting. What does Chica know? What does Chica know?
Miyaki was about to tell her, and then Chica was like, "No, President, I'll take with this one."
Chica takes one for the team and tells Kaguya what doing it
Doing
means,
it
which is
means.
wild. I love as well in this episode as well, we see another like swerve because they had this little vignette of the 20 questions thing in the first volume of the manga that I read, and I was like, okay, this is okay. But in this one, it brought the drama. It gave us drama about like, wait, him finding out like, wait, is she talking about me? It's something that she likes when he's trying to figure out what she's talking about. And it's like, oh wait, is that me? But then it's like, no, all this stuff, and then it's like, "Oh, you mean a dog?" And then she's like, "Yes, I guess, whatever." Like, yeah,
Well,
you're right.
that's like what she wrote though on it, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, what was was he not supposed to try to
She
guess the right thing?
she wanted him to say she wanted him to ask, "Is it something you like?" And then for her to say, "Yes," and then for him to be like, "Oh, you mean me?" And then her being like, "Oh, you think I like you?" And then
Yeah,
her
see,
having the
that's
power.
the one where I don't root for her. I don't root for her
Yeah.
in that situation because if she wanted that, she should have wrote his name.
But then when
Nope.
she would have to reveal it no matter what. She would either say you're right or you're
Yeah,
wrong,
but
and it
that's
was
what I
her.
mean. That's what I mean. In the
Yeah.
context of the war, I understand why she's going for the play, but if I'm rooting for somebody in this battle, it's not for her because I don't think that like that tactic won't work. Like I'm just like you're not that's not the right it's not the right play. It's not a good play. In that scenario, in that scenario, you just gotta go for broke. I'm sorry.
I don't like how you don't have any pictures of Pesu the dog. Chika Fujiwara, Fujiwara's dog, which is the
My bad.
cutest. It is the cutest dog. Um, this was a wild episode. I really liked this episode after the whole Virgin Monsters thing. Because after that, we get some of Kaguya's sweet side. Her sort of caring for this child
What
on the
was up with
walk.
the left side of the screenshot?
Yeah, it was Yeti.
Why?
No, just
Why is the Yeti there?
because she said,
I
because
know
the
she
little
said her
kid.
friend's name is Yeti,
Yeah,
but
that's what
like,
we call
why
her.
is an actual Yeti there?
Because it was just a visual.
Just there for like 2 frames.
Yeah, it was. I noticed it too, but then, like, I just thought it was the friend following along in the background, but then they finally notice them because they meet up later. I don't
Maybe
know. It's just silly.
it is silly.
Just let it
Some
happen. Just let the Yeti be
It's
there.
the only time where it's the only time for me where I had seen in the in the show a visual gag happening where it
Yeah.
doesn't have that break reality moment of
No.
like it's
It
presenting it in their mind or whatever.
yeah. It was
So it
really
just
silly.
caught me off guard and I didn't notice it when I was watching it the first time. That's why when I was going back for screenshots, it's like,
Is
huh?
that a Yeti? So we see.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. We see Kaguya being really nice to this little girl. This little kid, and I was like, okay, this is really cute. And like actually like taking the time to talk to them and you know, was it this up when was it where Shirogane talks to his classmate? We already passed that, right?
That was last episode, yeah.
So like we see them portraying themselves, like their real selves, and what each other likes about each other. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
falling for these characters as characters, and we're like, it's helping us realize like, oh, they're good for each other. You know what I mean? Because of these little one-off side stories or whatever. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, I want them to be together. So it's like helping
It's
me.
not just superficial.
It's not superficial. It's helping me understand why they would do well together, which is really cool because I see the
I didn't
good
even think of
side
that.
in both of them. Yeah. It needs that time apart. And then when Shirogane comes up and says, like, get on, you're gonna be late, and your student council member should never be late or whatever like that. It's really cute. And then they have that one scene where she's just in the back writing and they were like, she'll never forget about the time she was almost late. And it's like, oh, that's so cute. I love it. It's the best. Episode 4. What's going
Episode
on in
4
episode
has
4?
4 parts. So, the at the top of episode 4, we see that the school is going to be receiving visitors from another school in France, so like French exchange students. And in anticipation of that, the student council decides that they're going to hold a cosplay party because both cultures uh
Cosplay.
do cosplay a lot. So cat ears come out, and a lot of shooketh faces are made. Um, Next, we see that in order to decide who has to do the extra work to prepare for the exchange students to arrive, the student council plays a game, the Forbidden Word game, and we get to see Chika outplay everyone. Following that,
Uh,
we see Kaguya wanting to send a text to Miyaki, but not wanting to send it first, and she gets assistance from like one of her uh
servants? I don't know how to
servants.
say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
caretakers,
The
caretaker.
caretaker. There you go. Um, Help from one of her caretakers, and they end up on the phone with each other for a short time, making a date for the following day. Finally, with the French visitors at the school, it is now time for the student body to entertain their guests. However, Miyuki finds himself excluded because he is not fluent in French and finds himself the only one to be that way.
And then
Oh, yeah,
he
and then he gets verbally assaulted.
yeah, by Betsy Beltois, who is the French student council. We'll get into it. We'll get to it.
Mhm.
Um, I like all the little gags and stuff. Are you laughing? Is this a fun
Yeah.
time? This is a
I'm
fun time.
if I don't know the last time I've laughed at something so consistently.
I don't remember the last time I laughed.
Sure.
Anyway, get you.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I laugh so consistently, and it's always like every time there's a joke or a gag, it always lands for me. Whether it hits really hard or it's just a chuckle is up in the air, but it's like I'm constantly laughing. I found myself like right here, like by the end of watching the episodes, I was
My
like, yeah,
cheeks.
I was like, oh my god, like let me just rub my cheeks
Yes.
because my face
Your facial cheeks?
face cheeks.
What else were you never mind. Never mind. We're good.
We'll edit that out in post.
We'll edit that out for the YouTube audience. It's a real tee time. Yeah, Thornrose said they laughed so much in the show. It's I am thoroughly enjoying this show. And it's so weird because all the anime that we've done already, let's take a look back. All the anime we've done, this is so different. Like Zombieland Saga was fun and silly,
Mhm.
but this is a different fun and silly. Like this is like slapstick almost because they have the visual gags, like when they show like he's completely excluded. Like the over announcer is so over
The
the top.
narrator makes it.
The narrator makes
Seriously.
it. Please watch it in English, I think. I think you need to watch it in English because I've watched the first episode like 3, 4 times and I've watched it a couple times in English. It's so good. It's so much better. I've watched them both. I think it just loses some translation when it's in a different when you have to read it instead of you realizing the inflections and stuff of a
Exactly.
native language. So I think if you didn't like it or if you were on the fence about it, I think you should watch it in English. Or if you just want a different experience, you should watch it in English because I am really enjoying it. And Matt, unprompted, said he's enjoying it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting. Smush said I've been waiting so long for y'all to pick this one. It's such a good palate cleanser. Again, if you would like to submit an anime into the anime chest, here are the ones that are up there so far. You can donate 500 bits, 500 bits during the live show, and you can get suggest an anime, and we put it in a box, and then we pick it out for us to watch possibly next. These are all the ones in the box, and most of these are user submitted. So thank you so much to everybody
And
watching.
and we didn't talk about it last time, but since Madoka Magica was Jules's pick,
Yes,
I put another thing in the chest, and that's what's
yes.
at the bottom. I put The Promised Neverland
Yes,
in the
that's Matt's
chest. So
suggestion.
that is now one of my suggestions, new in the
Yes.
chest as well.
So that the way we're doing it so that one of
Season
us
one only.
season 1 only. I heard season 1 is amazing. Season 2, fucking sucks. Doesn't exist. Um, but yeah, the way we're doing it, if one of ours gets picked, the other person gets to put one in because so we can have that one up and it makes sense over here on our end. But back to I was about to say love is blind, love is war. Cat ears. I also like the little gag as well. Two things we haven't talked about yet. The little gag as well where she's doing the ears, whatever, and then they speed past the opening where they're like, "Oh, no, 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 whatever," because they do the whole like in a game of war when two people fall in love, and they do that whole thing. But then during this episode, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you already know. Let's go. Let's get to the opening music."
Mhm.
I love that. It's so tongue in cheek. It's so self aware. um I don't know, this is just different. It knows what it is, like where we had a little glimpse of that in Zombieland Saga where they're questioning homie. He's like, why are we zombies? How do we become zombies? He's like, don't worry about it. Bah, you know what I mean? We're getting it full force where it's like, yeah, yeah, it's a love story, let's get it going. I love it. It's so different.
It's I wanna compare it to, like, a cartoon, and I'm not able to quite think of the right one because there is that, like, there is that absurdism in there to some degree, but, like, it's not overly slapstick to the point of something like Ed, Edd and Eddy, but that's, like,
True.
it feels like a cartoon like that where all of these little, like you said, vignettes kind of string along, but it's something a little bit more than that because they all have that those little callbacks that kind of connect and give you a narrative that you can somewhat put together, a timeline. So it's not so much just vacuum sealed episodes, episodic format. So it's like it's balancing a lot of things where I've just, like I said, I can't really say that I've quite seen something like this before, and that's what's making it so fresh and so just entertaining for me to watch, I think, is because it's like, yeah, I've just never really can't find a piece of media, in my mental library that's a good comparison.
The most entertaining thing from these 4 episodes for me was Fujiwara busting out in rhyme during the during the little game. To say the little game was the
Forbidden word game.
forbidden word game. You have a word. If you say it, you lose. You can't see what word it is. Everybody else can. And Shirogane's like, okay, she's gonna say I want her to lose. It was a whole like mental gymnastics thing again,
Yeah,
as in all these things, whatever.
yeah.
But then out of nowhere, she just start busting out in rhyme. And she starts like doing all this whatever, you know what I mean? Beatboxing. Also, oh my god, that was so funny. I was like on the floor. It was so
And
good.
it was funny to see his reaction, Shirogane, because he's just like, Are you okay?" Like, he's
Yeah.
just completely caught off guard by it.
Yeah. He's like, wait, no, what's happening? And a couple of things here. We see the extent of Chica as well. Like
Yeah.
I've talked about how we see behind the mask of the other two characters.
Mhm.
And the one thing that we don't have is what's in the mind of Chica. We don't get her side. She's always the one coming at us, watching everything go down, and we're like, "Whoa, that's crazy." But we get into her mind a little bit because she fools that it blew my mind because Chica starts going and she's like, I don't feel accepted. My friends don't like me. It really spoke to me because she was like, I don't know how to read situations, and I was like, oh, that's me sometimes. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this is getting kind of real. I was like, dang it, what's happening? And then Kaguya was like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever, all this stuff, and then instantly Chica's like, nope, I gotcha,
Gotcha!
I gotcha. Smudge, am I saying her name
And
wrong?
basically
Kaguya? Am I saying it wrong?
Kaguya, um,
Kaguya.
and basically what you just said right there is what, Shirogane basically, like, he basically has all of that, and then he's like, "Alright." I see how it is. It's time.
You see it running just
He's like, no, no
sometimes?
more playing
Oh,
it around. Time to get serious. And then she turns to him, gotcha.
it's so good. It's so good.
Oh my
Sometimes you
goodness.
say Kaguya and sometimes you say Kaguya.
Kaguya. Kaguya.
Um,
Gotcha.
eat my
Kaguya.
shorts. That's my best. I love that. I don't know I don't know. How do I guess. Um, so it's so good. I love this little game. I love when they present games. I hope they don't run out of them. I hope they just keep every episode. Give me one little vignette of like, we're gonna play a game, and then like the word mental gymnastics, and then fucking Shirogane. Time to get serious. He's fucking glowing off on the side. Like they're showing the other
He's
two
going
characters, and you
Super
see his
Saiyan.
glow, and he's like, "Time to get serious," and instantly, Chica's like, "Gotcha."
Gotcha.
So good.
Her
It's so good.
gotcha is perfect.
I was not expecting that. I was
No,
not
yeah.
expecting her to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So that gives some depth to us, the audience, of Fujiwara and what she's able to do and what she's capable of. Um, to trick people, that literally caught me off guard. It was so good. The assistant, I wrote down assistant. I guess that's a better name for it. The assistant to Kaguya. Fuck. Now I'm gonna think about it every single time.
Eat my shorts.
K. Well, I could just say her first name. Wait, what's her first name? I know it's Miyuki Shirogane, but then I don't know Kaguya's
I
first
thought
name.
it was Kaguya something. I didn't write over it.
I don't
It's
know.
fine.
Anyways, whoa, deja vu. I deja vu. The assistant is a little weird. It's it's I mean, I get it that she's an adult, right? Because they're having the whole conversation about texting first and who's gonna text first. We exchanged email and number. I can't let him they have this little thing between her and her assistant, and it's like I it's a little weird because the way that she's like, I've done I've already I'm calling him now. You should call him, whatever. And then she's like talking to her or talking to Shirogane, and it's like, wait, this is his dad, whatever, whatever. But then the weird part's like he's in the tub.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and she's like,
and she was like, picture it, you're talking to a man who's buck naked. And I was like, what are you doing? These are children. That was the only weird part to me because yeah, she was like, oh my god, no, I'll call you later. And then he's like, yeah, oh, the big thing as well, he was like, my phone is waterproof. He said that in an earlier episode, and it comes up again when he's out in the rain. I
true.
love this show. It's so good. They're like, good thing my phone's waterproof, whatever. But like, that was the only thing that kind of caught me off guard as well, was the assistant being like kind of weird about it, being like, picture it, the boy butt naked.
I
And I was
feel
like,
like I feel like in lieu of that, they could have just had her mentally saying, "Oh my god, he's in the tub. That means he's buck naked." And so that way, it's just like her putting two and two together logically instead of an adult saying that to her. Like, yeah,
yeah,
how you
I think her
mentioned
sister's also a student, the blonde
the
with
blood.
the ponytail. She
Yes,
seemed older though, because she seemed like she had a grasp on love.
stuff.
I only thought that she was older because she was giving advice about whether you should text first. How do you, if you got somebody or if you exchange numbers with somebody, are you texting first? I guess we can do like roles or whatever, but like,
I'm not the person to ask.
well, you're my co-host, so you're the one I'm
Yeah, I
asking.
know, but just saying.
I just want to know.
Nope, I'm not texting anybody first.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, okay, if I were to exchange numbers with somebody because of that reason that I was like interested in talking to them, then yeah, I would probably text them first.
Okay, cool. But
The likeliness of that happening.
mm, okay.
Whoo! Whoo!
Would you okay, the weird thing as well is that they got emails. Would you exchange emails with anybody? I don't think I would.
I don't think so.
I don't think I would.
Emails, exchanging emails sounds very early 2000s AOL Messenger.
Yeah, why would I want your email? Send you documents? What am I gonna send you? What am I sending you? Chat, who texts first? Let me know. Are you a first texter? Let us know in the live chat or on YouTube, wherever you're watching, or on Spotify. Give us a 5-star review. Hi. Let us know if we're doing a good job. Um, the big thing here, Shirogane doesn't speak French. I love this. It's also another weird thing was the principal. There's some weird characters here. The principal is like, do your worst, tear them apart with your words. And I'm like, what are you? He's like, I need to know if you can lead this school. What are these adults? What's going on here? Is it just silly goofy or like
I
are the
mean, yeah,
adults
it's
unhinged?
it's to help present these outlandish situations and see how the characters are able to fare in them, I feel like. And so, yeah, there needs to be something prompting it for sake of the show trying to maintain its structure. And
Sure.
if that means that adults are going to be a little wild, then adults are a little wild.
So
I mean,
Shirogane,
we've seen it happen in other shows where like
sure.
that's why I say that like it doesn't quite cross the bridge into complete slapstick, but it does have those like this is totally like yeah, something I'd see out of a Saturday morning cartoon, but like dialed down and like readjusted just for this show.
It
Um
also gives me like a show like Seinfeld, sort of, where the characters are super outlandish too, and the world just happens. Um, so it get not so much Seinfeld, but like around the realm of a
or it's
Seinfeld
always
or a
sunny.
Frasier.
It's
I
always
love
sunny.
Frasier. It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yes, it gives me Always Sunny for sure. Smudge says it's just silly, goofy, majorly from the perspective of like high schoolers. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
And that's where I say earlier that like I like that feeling of everything being like a chess battle, like from the mentality of a high schooler, like yeah, totally. Remember that being a thing.
it reminds me more of a more wholesome Kakegurui. Yes, yes. The anime or the manga wasn't like that though. The manga was super
Side eye.
tame. What?
I said side eye.
Bombastic side eye. Matt, can you watch Kakegurui E?
I
If I
have.
put it, oh, okay.
I've seen
Well,
season 1.
never mind.
That's why I say side eye.
Okay. I mean, it is because of the way they do everything. They do like knife to the back, gun to the face, and all this stuff is like big stuff, fucking homie going Super Saiyan. Like it's so good. So I see that for sure so much. It's silly and goofy, but not annoyingly. That is yes. It is silly, goofy, not over the top though. Um Literal
Literal
stand
stand
user.
user.
Actually true. Um, but I love this introduction of Betsy Beltois. I really hope we see her again because the big thing is that Shirogane doesn't speak French at all, doesn't understand. Fujiwara does, Kaguya does, and they're going off. And he's like, "When did everybody learn French? How am I going to lead the student council or lead the school or whatever if I don't speak French?" But then it's so like sitcom-y, like Frasier or something. I love this where it's like the reason why he's feeling left out becomes the thing that moves the story forward. And it's like he does not understand this verbal assault. And then the principal's like, oh my God, he's doing great. He should have been ripped limb from limb. And he's like, what does he say? What's the word? He says,
Exactly
we.
one.
He says we yeah, whatever.
we
It's
we
so good. It's so and then
he's just saying base responses, you
yeah,
know.
and then Kaguya comes to save him. It's so good. I love this. I love this so far. Um Also, oh, the second thing that I wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about is that each 4 episodes had a different ending. Is it going to be a different ending every time? Did you not notice that?
I noticed it for episode 1 and 2 and 3, but I thought episode 4 was the same ending as 2 or
Oh,
something like that.
maybe. I know the only one that had Chica Dance was 3.
3.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was like I thought that was the ending. Like
Yeah.
when I didn't see it ending that way in episode 1 and 2, I was like, "Oh, where does the Chica Dance come from?"
Bro, they put all the animation department's budget into her dance.
Hell yeah. I thought it was AI. It looked like AI.
That was crazy.
I thought they like motion captured. How much how much for you to film a TikTok of you doing the Chika dance?
Buy my new car engine for me.
Oh, your new car engine. Chat, can we get a fundraiser for Matt to do the Chika dance?
I need a new hybrid engine, everybody. It's only $9,500.
Oh god. I only got $3.
I have $3.
Okay. I guess it's not gonna happen. Sad. Um who is your favorite character so far? Hey
I'm
guys, that's
sorry.
only like
Reading chat.
950k bits.
Favorite character so far? Well, I mean,
Only.
we really only have these three characters.
Yeah, who do you like?
Chika, Kaguya, and Shirogane. And man, Shirogane says some things that I'm just like, is that really what I sound like?
You, Matt? I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
So I really like Shirogane. I really like him a lot.
You're a virgin
He's really
monster,
funny.
Matt. Yeah, Shirogane's cool. Petsu's
Who's
a
your favorite
dog.
character?
Petsu's
Pesky
a
the
dog.
dog?
No, I like how sweet Kaguya is. I really want to know more about Fujiwara. I don't know. I would say Kaguya just because she's really nice and like I understand uh, she opens up a lot more, I think, or at least we've had the opportunity to see her open up a lot more, and I'm like, mm, I like her. She's cool. Um, I like that. I don't know. She's like the token like wanting to see outside of this empire. We see her more as like the empire person. Like she's born into this whole thing, and uh, Shirogane is like perfect for her, but she's like scared to get out of it. And she shows vulnerability behind the scenes. So yeah, I don't know. I like her, but I like all of them. Like you said, they're all really cool. I really
Mhm.
enjoy the stories they're telling. And that's it. We've talked about episode 1 through 4 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. Next Thursday, we're going to talk about episode 5 through 8. So if you want to keep going and watch those episodes throughout the week, and then come back here on Thursdays or on Fridays if you watch on YouTube or Spotify, because you could watch on Spotify. That's really cool. So if you missed any of this, it'll be up on Friday or tomorrow on Spotify or on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. Just look up the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. It's right here. Look that up on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Go back and watch episodes we've done before. But watch episode 5 through 8 of Kaguya-sama Love is War by next week, and you can come back and discuss
Love
it.
is war. Love
Love
is war.
it's in my head for sure. And then after we're done with the first season, we go ahead and rate it, and then we move on to a next anime. So that was our first episode. I'm super excited. This is a lot of fun. Matt, where can they find you when you're not in a war of love?
When I'm not in a war of love, you can find me on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Matt_Galley, or on all my other socials at it's Matt_Galley. Same tag with an ITS at the front. When we're not here talking about the animes we're watching, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on Twitch playing Overwatch 2, probably very badly. On my YouTube
Plat
channel.
support? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, I'm a plat support, baby. YouTube.com/JulesTheHuman, where I upload these videos. Twitter.com/JulesTheHuman. Instagram, Jules the Human. TikTok. I might upload a TikTok dance very soon. Who knows? I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the little, the thing. It's so good. But if you want to go see me dance or do stuff, TikTok is at Jules the Human _. I think that's the only one that's different. But we're glad you came by and watched Kaguya-sama with us. And until next time, we'll see you next week.
Bye.